Hi, well, I'm getting a late start this year, but I thought instead of just doing stills of my epiphyllum flowers, I would do a video. So I have a few that I've missed. I've gotten still photos of them, so I'll include those at the end. But let's look through the garden here. It's the first week of May, 2022. This is my epi that's marked priceless. And I don't know if you can see, it's sort of an orange with a fuchsia sheen. We got the harsh midday sun here. It's a very beautiful bloom. Next we have, this is called Fiesta de Flores. A pretty pink, kind of a funnel-shaped flower. Pink with the peachy sepals and a white throat. How's that for beautiful? And next we have, this is called Carbon County. It's an Evelyn Cherokee hybrid. Very pretty. I don't know the parentage of this offhand, but I like the lovely golden sepals and the kind of greenish, yellowish, well, it's pretty pure white. There's not a lot of green to the petals. When you see the sun shining on it, it's like a beautiful pure white. And we'll have another bud on that one to enjoy. Here's the first one that we've already enjoyed. Here we have wild toucan plant. It's going to have a couple of blooms here within the next week or two. And this is my oh my. It's got quite a few buds still to go. A beautiful red flower that I took a picture of the other day. And we had this beautiful red flower that I'm going to include the still at the end. That's my oh my, and we've got all these buds still to go on that plant. Hello there. I've got my helpers here. Hi. You help? Are you helping? Yes, we are helping. We are helping. Little garden gnomes. And then we've got our Ripsalis here, our Lepismium cruciforme there. Beautiful red because it gets quite a bit of dappled light all day. Ripsalis sulcata. Just a really hardy plant and grows like crazy. I've got the Lost Dutchman here, which is a Don Burnett hybrid. It has not bloomed for me yet. I've only been growing it for about a year or two. Here's my Ripsalis crispata. Loving where it is. And we have a Ripsalis occidentalis in the background there. Now that it's kind of springy weather, it's starting to get new growth. Doing really well. Shooting some new branches out there, so it kind of doesn't have much on the back side. So I think by another year or so we may get some new growth going down the back side, and that'll make it a nicer, fuller plant. Here we've got Ripsalis agudoensis. It's starting to grow pretty well. I'm going to have to hang that one up so the snails don't get to it. Then over here we have, this is my Chiba Lovely Dawn plant. I don't see any buds on this year, but when it blooms, it's spectacular. And then here we have Frida Kahlo. It's hard to see because of the, it's got a lot of new growth. Look at that beautiful branch there. I don't see any buds on this side, but I've got buds on the other side. And Frida Kahlo is a Watts hybrid. It's a beautiful ruffly red, really pretty. Here we have Don Oro. The plant is looking pretty good. I don't have any more buds on this. Oh yes, I do. I have a bud still on this to go. I have two buds. Nice. Two buds. This is a gorgeous golden orangey yellow flower, I should say, not plant. And this one is about to bloom. I don't know the name. I'll have to see after it blooms. I'll have to look on the pot and see what it's marked. Here we have Andromeda. It will be blooming. There are a couple of buds there, 3 at least that I see. And here we have the Epiphyllum cranatum. I believe it's Chichi Castanango, and it did bloom, and I missed the bloom, unfortunately. So much for that. That happens when you have epis and you're not home every day. And here we have Ripsalis paradoxa. Getting some really nice long branches there. Nice long chainy growth. And here we have one of my top favorite epis of all time, Doris Pittman. It's just the most beautiful soft pink, full petals. They're not round, but they're beautifully full. And we've got peachy sepals. So this is a spectacular flower, and I think it should be in everyone's collection. I've had already 3 or 4 blooms, and I've got at least 5 more buds, big buds. There's a big one, another one, 3 more. It's just gone crazy this year with blooms. And here we have Beijing. It's got several more buds. I did get a bloom the other day that I took a still of, so I'll have to show you that at the end. But we've got several more buds to go here. 2 more here. If you like big flowers, Beijing is just a beautiful choice. Look at all the buds up here. I don't know if you can see them. A couple there, 1 there. So it's a good bloomer. It blooms every year. Lots of buds. So that is Beijing. My problem with this plant is it was it was leaning over all one direction. It was so heavy, and I had to hang a couple of milk carton bottles from the other side to counterbalance it. So hopefully we'll get some growth that'll shoot out the other direction and kind of balance it out. Here we have the north side of the house. My husband built me this lovely hanger, and he's going to build me another structure like this so that we can extend this. I've got more room over there. This is Tim, and I have this plant because I have a nephew, Tim, who passed away, and so this is kind of a sentimental favorite for me. This is about the 3rd day that this one has been blooming, so it's starting to fade. This is Nuage, another Watts hybrid. And Les Nuages means the clouds in French. And I'll put a still of this one at the end when it was more at its peak of glory. So we've got quite a few more buds on that one. This is Heavenly. It's a pretty pink. What else do we have here? I actually don't have as many blooms as I might have liked over here this year. And these ultra pure white buds here are Casper. I've had 1 beautiful bloom already on this flower, and here you can see the last remains of it, but it's going to have a lot more blooms, as you can see. Oh, this is a Don Burnett hybrid, and it's called Suzanne, S-O-U-Z-A-N. And I haven't seen it bloom for a couple of years, so I'm going to look forward to coming back and showing you the flowers once they're open. And then over here I've got just a couple of plants. This is a plant I got from Galen Pittman. It is 3 oranges. There's an epi, and then it sort of had a friend that piggybacked along there, a Boston fir, and it's even growing out of the bottom of the pot. So I didn't have the heart to kill the fern out of there. I may take cuttings of the 3 oranges and leave the fern, because I think the fern is sucking all the nutrition away from the epis. This is one of my favorite plants that I've had for decades. Stormy weather. I don't see but a couple of buds down here. One looks like it may not remain on. Oh, there it went. This bud, however, is going to be a beautiful bloom. So that will be stormy weather. And it's one of my favorite epis of all time. And I think it's not blooming this year so much as it's putting on new growth. So I'm going to probably cut a lot of this older, not very good growth off to encourage the new growth to hopefully flower next season. And this is, I believe, a Selenocerius anthonianus, or it could be, I haven't seen it bloom yet. I bought it at a home and garden show, and it could be one of the other rickracks. So we'll see when it blooms. That's how you can really tell what it is. It's just kind of fun. And you know, this is more sensitive to the sun, more sensitive to the cold. I had it on my front tree and it got frostbite along the top of some of the branches here from being out in the cold. Didn't completely kill them, but you know, it's scarring from frost. And we're still getting new growth since I moved it over here in a more sheltered location. It's been doing a lot better. Okay. And moving out on the front porch and into the front yard here, I have some pots of Ripsalis clavata. It was a kindly gift to me from one of my friends on Facebook. There's another clavata and another clavata down here, which is a different variety, and it hasn't really taken off yet. We have Ripsalis rhombia. It started from one clade, and there is Ripsalis gebeliana, which was sold to me as agudoensis, but it's not. It's gebeliana. It's the Tropiflora plant. And here we've got another start of sulcata. It just grows like a weed. And we've got Pentaptera. I put this one out a little too early in the spring, and it got some frost that sort of nipped it. So thank goodness it didn't get completely killed. And we have another Ripsalis here. This is a Bassifera mauritianus. Kind of hard to see. Here's the new growth. It's got some kind of little greenish looking berries on it. Kind of interesting, huh? And there is the Lepismium cruciforme spiralis. It's got the spirally branches. Gets a lot of sun here, so I'm keeping an eye on it now that it's summertime. I don't want it to get burned. It looks like it's doing okay. This is a new plant that I got at the Arboretum. Hatiora salicornioides bambusoides, because it's got an upright growth habit. And the other Hatiora salicornioides is pendant. I don't know that they are really the same species, but they say they are. So this one grows pretty much straight up. And the others that I have, Hatiora salicornioides, are draping. Here is Ripsalis serioscula. Has little segments. Pretty distinctive. I've had this plant for 3 or 4 years, and I nearly drowned it. I had it in a pot that had no drainage, and it was really doing poorly. And when I realized my mistake, I got it out, and it's slowly coming back. And this is another similar to Ripsalis sulcata, but it's got pink berries. And this is Ewaldiana. And to me, it's very different from my sulcata. Not just in the color, but in the way it grows. Very different. I wouldn't call them similar at all, but I've heard people say that they're similar except for the color of the berries. So that is Ewaldiana. It's doing really well. There is the Salicornioides again. And this I just bought at the Huntington. This is Pacheco leonis. So kind of a new addition here. So we'll see how that one does. I love how the growth sort of twirls. It's neat. And this is the Ripsalis mesembryanthemoides, which to me looks more like ice plant than an epiphytic cactus, but they say it's a cactus. All right, here we have a really special treat. This is Frida Kahlo, a Watts hybrid. Ruffly and gorgeous. And not only 2 blooms today, but I had a 3rd bloom. And we also have another beautiful bloom of Doris Pittman. I've got at least 20 buds on this plant. So beautiful. It's got to be one of my all-time favorite epiphyllums. Here we have Pegasus. Really pretty. The wind's been battering it quite a bit today since it opened quite some time ago, earlier this morning. Very nice. Here we have double blooms of Callisto. This one's been open a couple days, so it's about ready to conk out, but this one is fresher and newer. Really pretty. I still have a couple buds. One getting ready to open for tonight. We still have Doris Pittman hanging in here for a little bit longer. And here we have Autumn Pink, which color-wise looks quite a bit like Doris Pittman, but of course it doesn't have the pretty form of Doris Pittman. It's still a beautiful flower. And here we have Priceless, or at least that's how it was marked for me. I have a little hummingbird that just buzzed past me here. So this has a delicious kind of a orange and fuchsia. Really a lovely, lovely bloom. So possibly Priceless, not sure. I think it's supposed to be a little rufflier. My friend Camilla would know. It's really beautiful. And we still have a little bit of Frida Kahlo action going on here. These blooms have been lasting nicely since it's been cooler weather. It's already been a couple days and they still look pretty nice. They're starting to fade. Not too bad. Really, really just a special delight. Hello, girls. Hello. Hello. Hi, Miss B. Hi, Merlot. Hi, honey. Hi, how are you? How's my special girl doing? How is my special girl? She's such a good girl. Yes, she's so special. Here's her friend, the jealous Pomeranian. Here's her friend, the jealous Pomeranian. Good thing Mom has enough love for everybody, huh? I got enough love for everybody. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. My goodness. My goodness. There they are. And this is Andromeda. This is the third day that bloom has been open. Isn't that really magnificent? And here we have Casper. Beautiful, beautiful Snow White. And this morning we have stormy weather. Well, all right, we've got the squirrel watcher here, the squirrel monitor. These flowers have been open for 3 days, and they're getting floppy, but still pretty. Not bad. Here we have Fiesta de Flores, newly opened today. Nestled in amongst the Rhipsalis, Lepismium. Here is the Lost Dutchman. We've got more buds on my oh my that are going to be open, maybe in another week or two. And a couple of nice buds on Wild Toucan. And those look like they're going to require about another probably 4 or 5 days, maybe even a week before they'll open. Andromeda has been blooming. This is the 4th day it's been open. So don't let people tell you the flowers only last for a day. That's just not true. And we have a couple more buds on Frida Kahlo. These will be open within the week, hopefully. Doris Pittman is still looking very nice. Got a friend here wanting to know what I'm doing with his flower. And we've got a few buds on this plant here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. I've got buds on Yellow Tang, which are nowhere near ready to open, but there's at least about a half dozen buds there. So I'll have that to look forward to. We've got another bud on Don Oro, a beautiful yellow. I'll get that one when it opens. And a couple of nice buds on this plant. I don't even know what that one is. And we have quite a few more buds. Way in the back we have Beijing. It's just loaded with buds back there. Loaded. It's kind of jungly here. Hard to see without me getting back in there. Here we've got 2 blooms on Heavenly. Very pretty pink flowers. My plant was marked Heavenly from Don's original cut, whatever that means. This is Nuage that's fading. And we have this beautiful, here's this very beautiful stormy weather. One of my favorite flowers. I've got some buds on a hybrid that I've been nurturing for at least 10 years, so we'll see if what that looks like when it blooms. And then we've got Casper, beautiful white hybrid from Don Burnett. Another bud, a couple of buds we're getting ready to open. Another flower that's open. And we've got buds on Suzanne, which is another Don Burnett hybrid, Suzanne. So those should be opening in a week or so. Okay. So what do you think, little girl? Very interesting, huh? All right, here we are the morning after the show. Looks like we've got a My Oh My that will be open soon. We've got a wild toucan in the background that's going to open in a day or so. Here is our unknown flower that I don't know what it is, but it's certainly beautiful. It was marked priceless, but that's not what it is. And let's see. Here is the plant that I entered in the show yesterday, back home in the tree there. I could have brought a lot of plants, but I just don't have that much room in my car. But I had quite a few blooming. We have another Andromeda back there that's going to open. We have a few, this is another mismarked plant. It's marked Showboat, but I don't believe it really is Showboat. But it's a good bloomer. Of course, anytime you have no ID, it's always a great bloomer. And here we have Doris Pittman and a couple of Vanilla Sunset that I really would have loved to have taken to the show yesterday, but they weren't open in time for the show. If I can get a little better view of these for you. So pretty. So that is Vanilla Sunset. Absolutely stunning. How about that? Very pretty. So I'll have to get a nice still shot of that one. I have quite a few Beijing in the back that are going to be opening. A dancing doll that has opened. These things have long tubes and they're sort of, I bet they're beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful dancing doll, and I've got another one on this branch and two more on that branch that are going to be opening. And two more on this branch. They're just so big and beautiful. Here we've got some blooms on my hybrid still to open. We have another Casper. Another flower on Casper. Really lovely. Kind of a thorny plant. Gotta be careful when I'm handling it. Okay, that's it for today. Alrighty, it's a couple days after the show, and I have a relatively small collection as Epiphyllum collections go. I have less than 100 plants. I have a hybrid here that I'm still waiting. I've got 3 buds. This one should be opening maybe by this evening. That would be nice. And there's another bud on the same plant. I have a bud down there on a new This is actually a new cutting, and I don't know what plant that is. Gosh, I'll have to take a look. I have a Ripsalis that I'm rooting here that's got a little teeny tiny flower on it. Isn't that cute? Very sweet. And I can't remember. I think that, let me see what the name of this one is. Oh, that's a Hulleri. So that is rooting and starting to grow. And then here we have, this is an old hybrid. I believe it's a Fortinobar called King of Siam. And the flower is sort of unremarkable, but it's pretty. Vibrant colors. And the nice thing about this plant is it gives me a flower at least every year. So that is King of Siam. Very reliable bloomer. Oh, we have a, of course, we still have our last Casper bloom here. It's been open for a couple of days. Yes, they do last longer than one day. This one will probably last 2 or 3 days if I leave it on the plant. If I pick the flower and bring it inside the house to enjoy it, it'll die pretty quickly. Oh, and I've got a bud on camp robber back there that hasn't opened yet. So I have still quite a bit to look forward to. And here we've got a little garden gnome. Hi, garden gnome. Hi. How are you? How's my girl? Very sweet, huh? How are you today? Precious. About half her teeth are gone. She's an old dog. She's about 11 now. We've got an iris blooming back here. I believe this one is called Bravery. You know, I can't really recall, but this is not an iris video, so I don't want to get sidetracked. Here's my peanut cactus that's going to bloom. Hummingbirds are chirping around here. I've got 3 feeders. These are plants that were given to me by Janet Lai, and I just moved them into a shadier location here, and they're doing much better. They were in pretty much full sun, and they were not doing well at all. Okay, I've got a couple of buds here still to go on Don Oro. They look like they'll be ready to open within a few days. There's Doris Pittman that's been open for several days. And this cutting, this plant I grew from a cutting. Look how huge it is. I mean, it's just huge. And it was marked Showboat, but it does not look like Showboat to me. This plant was marked Showboat. Showboat has this general form, but the edges are usually much lighter. So I don't know if it's my weather this year or the growing conditions. This is about the 4th or 5th bloom I've had, and they've all been very consistently this color. So I think it's a mismark, no ID. So I'll probably have to dispose of this plant and give it to somebody that would enjoy it. There is the Beijing in the back. We'll go back there in a minute and get a good look at it. I have another bud on Frida Kahlo that has not opened up yet. Maybe another day or so. So we'll see that one once it's nice and wide open. Oh, here's another bud here. It's another Frida Kahlo bud. I had some entries in the show from that plant, Frida Kahlo. Oh, we've got an Andromeda blooming back there. We'll go back, when we go into the back of the planter here, we'll get a better look at that one. Very pretty even from the side. Here we have the species and my rest of my epiphytic collection. I almost brought this to enter in the show, but maybe next year. This is a gudoensis. Not very common in cultivation, or maybe it is. I don't know, but it seems to grow pretty well. So I bought that from Epiphyllum World. Let's see what else I can show you here. I have a bud here on What a Dream. I had another bud or another flower on that same plant that I entered in the show. Here we have Dancing Doll attracting the honeybees. Very pretty. I believe there's a fourth bud in here somewhere. Yep, there's a fourth bud there. Getting ready to open. So that is Dancing Doll. That's a cultivar that's generally open for our show. We usually get a bloom or two from Dancing Doll, and it's easy to grow. So, you know, a lot of members have it and it thrives pretty nicely. You know, it's nothing fancy, but a reliable bloomer and a good grower, so we keep it in our collections. We still have Vanilla Sunset here. Really spectacular. I pollinated the flowers, so I'm hoping to get some seed from that. Here we have My Oh My, kind of a medium flower, not real huge, but very pretty. So that's My Oh My. I've still got, you know, here's another bud that's opening and two more over there. Kind of funny how they point straight down, huh? Unusual. Looks like this bud is going to drop. So these plants will put out more buds than they can support, and even at this late advanced stage, sometimes they'll drop their bud. This one is going to be die. This one's going to drop. It's not going to open. You can see how yellow that is. On the other hand, this is a nice healthy bud that's going to open. It's very strong. So bye-bye to this one, but hello to that one. Then we have another bloom or another bud here on Wild Toucan. That should be opening in a couple of days. And there is one of my unregistered hybrids. So we're going to go back up in the back here and see the flowers that are in the back of the planter area. Here's the bud on Wild Toucan. Nice and big. It's going to be a huge flower. Here's my hybrid. Pretty, very pretty. I haven't decided what I'll do with this yet. I kept it from last year because it is so beautiful. It's really pretty. But it may not be unique enough to save and name, so we'll see. And we have a bud here on Royal Air. I believe that's going to be the only flower on this plant this year. So that'll be fun. It's a gorgeous flower. Wait till you see that one. And there we have the Andromeda. You can see it through the... How pretty is that? Isn't that sweet? A couple more buds there. Still got a show going on. We've had a cool spring here in Southern California, so I have a lot of things that are opening a little bit later. Hello, kitty. A visitor here. A visiting neighborhood cat. Bye. See you later. She's cute. She's not fearful of me at all, as you can see. And she knows the dogs can't get up here and bother her. And here is... Here is Beijing. These can get super huge. This one is large, but you know, I haven't been fertilizing much this year. They can get extra large. So that's Beijing. There's another example of a bud that's not going to survive. That one's going to drop. If I touch it, it may just drop. And I've got, let's see, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another one that's going to drop. So oh God, 2 more up there. The dog just saw the cat. This was just loaded with buds. So that is Beijing. Here we've got, just to show you, another bud that'll drop. Oh, my dog saw the cat. This bud will make it and turn into a flower. This bud is going to drop. This bud is going to drop. So, you know, even though I've got probably 15 buds or so on this, and maybe 3 or 4 that are not going to make it. So that is the show for today. Oh, and we've got, just thought I'd mention, I have the plant of yellow tang. It's rather a spindly grower, and it's got 3 buds. So here we have our knot showboat. It's very pretty. And then this is the yellow tang plant. The growth, as you can see on this, is not real desirable. It's kind of spindly. And this is very typical of this plant. If you get cuttings of this from somebody, you just have to know that it's a spindly grower. And I have a bud about to open, a couple of buds there, yellow tang. So this will be a beautiful yellow, and a couple more down here. Okay, so that about does it for today. Here we are on today's garden tour. It is now 4 days past the show. This is one of my hybrids. It's got a white throat. I call this one Hybrid A. I've lost the parentage tags when I moved. So it's got the nice white tipping to the inner petals. But it's nothing very remarkable. So far, that's what it looks like. I've got 2 more buds on that plant. We'll come back over here. This Casper has been open for 4 days. It still looks pretty nice after 4 days being open. Don't let anybody tell you they're just open for 1 day, because that's not true. All right, let's go to the back of the yard. Here's a cute little aloe that I have. I just repotted it into a bigger pot, and it is doing much better now. It loves its situation. And here we have Beijing. We've got 3 nice blooms. Very pretty. This is, I would say, a large. It's probably about 7 or 8 inches across. This is kind of a medium. Not quite as large as this one. And this is also a nice large bloom. So very rewarding plant to grow. We've also got another bloom back in the back here. Oh my. So 4 blooms in 1 day on this plant. We have another bloom on Doris Pittman. Quite a few spent blooms on this plant. I think this is probably the last flower I have for this season on Doris. I got to give you another picture of Beijing. Isn't that so vibrant? Really pretty. And over here we have a Frida Kahlo. Gosh, it's sort of backlit, and the sprinklers hit it. Oh goodness, it's pretty. I'm gonna just go ahead and pick this one so I can bring it in the house. So there it is. That's a much better view of it. One of the most beautiful of the Watts hybrids. Just perfection, isn't it? Beautiful large flower. That's a plant I would never part with. This was blooming yesterday and still today. It is not showboat. I don't know what it is, but the plant is huge, a good grower. It would be a no ID. Here is Andromeda up here. And over here we have King of Siam that's been open since yesterday. Coming back over here, Dancing Doll is sort of beginning to fade. Pretty little thing. And here we have My Oh My. Lovely red, kind of a medium size, really vibrant color. We've got another wild toucan that's going to open here in the back planter. And this is my hybrid B, similar to hybrid A, but a better flower. Doesn't have the white tipping, but it does have a light fuchsia tipping to the flowers. Very pretty. So that's it for today. It's not quite all for today. When I was at the show, a lady from San Rafael gave me this cutting. Genarius. I don't know that that's how you say it. Orange with a gold stripe. And that is the bloom. There was a bud on the cutting and it bloomed. Pretty amazing, huh? I think I'm holding it the wrong way. It hasn't quite opened all the way. Still in the process of opening. It does have a gold mid-stripe. Pretty. So I'll be planting this cutting and getting a new plant. Now we're done for today. Kind of drooping, but still beautiful color in the yard. All right, it's Thursday after our show, the 19th of May, 2022. Here is Wild Toucan. I had two beautiful blooms on this year. One I used for my floral arrangement entry. For the show theme, it's a jungle out there. So it really looked like a jungle flower to me, and it's got a jungly name, so what the heck? Might as well. Okay, let's see. Here is my hybrid A, lasting several days. We've had cool weather this week. Here's Don Oro. I'm going to have two more blooms within the next day or two. Some sunflowers here. And Frida Kahlo is going to bloom again. And it doesn't look like she set any seed for me this year. These look like they're just, you know, not going to do anything seed-wise. Alrighty, and then we have in the back over here, this is Autumn Pink. Very pretty flower. I ordered it from Dawn at Epiphyllum World a couple years ago, and it's starting to bloom for me. It was a very reliable bloomer when I had it in the past. And we're going to have a bloom here pretty soon on Yellow Tang. Should be open tonight or in the morning. I repotted this yesterday Ripsalis agudoensis. I had two separate pots, and so I kind of consolidated them into one. I like the growth on this. It's a really cool plant, so hopefully it'll fill in. It'll probably be pretty nice just by next year. Doesn't take too long. I had to get it up off the ground. The snails were targeting it. All of these plants need to be preferably hanging so they don't, so the snails don't eat them up. Here we have Beijing. And look at this flush of blooms we have on Beijing. There's my counterweight. The pot was so heavy with this plant that it was falling forward, so I had to put these weights on here to keep the pot upright. So we're going to have another bloom on here eventually, and another one down here. But for today, well, I've got a few more buds, as a matter of fact. One here, another one here, another one here. Wow, this plant has just gone crazy this year. So I'm going to hopefully get a nice picture of this group of blooms. A still photo. Okay, how I'm going to get a nice picture with those darn jugs hanging there, I don't know. Okay, well, we'll think of something. So that's it. That is the yard today. Let's go to the side of the house. I don't think I have any new blooms over there, but we can check and see. We have a lovely iris, looking very pretty today. No, there's nothing over here. Well, we've got 3 or 4 buds on Suzanne. That'll be a little while, maybe another week before they open. Well, good morning. It is the 20th of May, 2022. We've got a little visitor here. Little Hummer. There he went. It's still a little dark, but I was excited to come out here and see I've got those blooms that we were looking at yesterday starting to open. Here is Yellow Tang. It's just as beautiful as I had anticipated and hoped. And since there's not very much light this morning, it's sort of difficult to see a beautiful picture of it. But there it is. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful butterscotch yellow color. And we still have wild toucan. It's still looking nice. If I lift it, it may capture more light. There we go. Oh, how pretty is that? So beautiful. So beautiful. And here we have my hybrid that I dubbed Hybrid A. This is the 3rd or 4th day it's been open. It's starting to flop. And there's our resident kitty that likes to hang out in my yard. Hi, kitty. Hi there. She's pretty friendly. I think it's a she, I don't know. Okay. We still have some blooms on Beijing. Here's a new one that just opened. It's facing the opposite direction. Oh gosh, look how pretty that is. I just go gaga over these cactus flowers. A few more buds there, ready to open in a couple days. Nice bud up there. Okay, let's go to the other side of the yard. The kitty says, okay, let's go over there. Let's go over there. Here we go. Here is another gorgeous, gorgeous, even deeper orange than Yellow Tang. This is Don Oro. Kind of a more medium bloom than the other blooms that I had earlier in the season, but still spectacular. Really awesome. So that is Don Oro. Okay, my vanilla sunset looks like it is setting seed with Lord's Prayer. So that'll be nice. We've got another bud here on my oh my. Another bud here on this plant that is really an unknown. I'm going to take it to the fern show and give it away. So hopefully it'll be blooming at the show so somebody will buy it there. And here we have Andromeda. Lovely, nice, crisp white. Here we have another beautiful bloom that opened today. This is Prince of Romany. So the plant itself is looking rather peaked. Got a lot of spotting and marks and marring, but that is the bloom from Prince of Romany. Okay, let's take one last look at Yellow Tang, and that'll be it for today. Oops, we almost forgot Frida Kahlo. This is my last bloom on Frida Kahlo for the season. That is such a gorgeous thing and so unique. Very unique. That ruffling is just to die for. Very pretty. Okay. Now we'll take a look at our Yellow Tang. Oh, and we've also got, this has been blooming for a couple of days, Autumn Pink. If you leave the blooms on the plants, they'll last several days. If you pick them, they'll die in a few hours. So that's Autumn Pink. And here is our Yellow Tang.
Okay. We hang it someplace.
Alrighty.
Back in the cat room here.
It's very nice to have a helper.
Back in the cat room.
Okay. So my helper hung this in a different area of the tree.
Helper.
Yes. My life helper. And there it is. Okay, we'll be back if there's any more blooms tomorrow. It is May 21st, 2022. This is the tour of the Epiphyllum garden. We have still an Andromeda blooming up here. Pretty white and yellow. Not a big flower, but very pure and lovely looking. I've got another bud to come on this one. This is my plant that was mismarked, Showboat. It's got a couple more buds. We've got another bud here on my oh my. And look at this beautiful thing. This is Don Oro, and it is lovely. An unusual thing I've noticed about this flower is it doesn't produce any pollen. So I was unable to collect any pollen from this. I did make an attempt thinking that maybe there was some kind of microscopic pollen, and I pollinated this onto Yellow Tang, but I don't think it's going to work because, like I said, even this flower that just opened today, absolutely no pollen whatsoever. I don't know what that bee is going for. I guess the nectar. I have another bud here to come, opening in a day or so on What a Dream. Let's see, what else can I show you here? Here is a gorgeous thing that I brought from the side of the house to showcase out here. There's one beautiful flower that opened and another bud that'll open in a day or so. This is Suzanne, and this is a Dawn Burnett hybrid. And that is just the most lovely red flower you will ever see. I mean, it's just the most beautiful color. Sort of dancing in the wind there for you. So there is Suzanne, S-O-U-Z-A-N is how that is spelled. Okay, moving along here. I had to pick this flower. The plant looks like it's about to die, but I did get a flower on Oberon this year. It's lovely. I collected some pollen from this because, well, I'll show you. Here's the plant. Looks really ratty. I don't know if it's going to make it. So maybe it can live on through its pollen. I don't know. And then here we have Frida Kahlo. I think this is the third day or so this has been open. I did pollinate this with Suzanne. So hopefully we'll get a nice seed pod. Here is my Echinopsis that bloomed. I believe this was given to me by my friend Camilla. And I think the name is Super Apricot. Isn't that lovely? Beautiful. Now we had another bud open on yellow tang. So now we've got a pair of yellow tangs. Just such a lovely golden yellow, especially this flower. That's the one I tried to pollinate with Dawn Oro, and I'm willing to bet it's not going to work unless the bees manage to pollinate it somehow. Then this bud is about to open on Rococo, I believe that plant is up there, which is more of an orange, a nice bronzy orange. So that'll be pretty to see in a day or so. And here is my hybrid A about to open. It's kind of got a white center. I don't know that I'll hang on to this one. I may give this plant to the sale. Beautiful big flowers, but just not anything distinctive. And then we've still got quite a few flowers on Beijing in the back there. And that is it for the Epiphyllum garden today. We'll just have a little final look here at yellow tang. Hopefully I'll get some seed pods. I've got more buds on yellow tang. I've got 1, 2, 3 or 4 more blooms to come on this. So that'll be awesome. I'm going to pollinate one of these with my pollen from Oberon. I'll have more seed than I know what to do with this year. But I'm retired, so not an issue. And let's take this pretty little thing into the house. I've got a little pot of water here. It's not a big flower, but it's really lovely. Lovely form. That's another Dawn Burnett hybrid, as is Suzanne. I don't know what crosses these were, but that would be interesting to note. Let's get this in a little light so you can see the color more easily. Beautiful orange-red mid-stripe, fuchsia petals, double flower, really pretty. And here's another look at Suzanne. Well, good morning. This is Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. I don't want to take you to look at things that we've already looked at. Yesterday, we had quite a few things blooming here. But here we have Rococo, which is an older hybrid. I bought the plant from Chris Welcher. It's doing very well. The little bee seems to approve there. So that is blooming today. It's a lovely, lovely orangey red with fuchsia flush in the middle. Really pretty. And we have yesterday's yellow tang doing very nicely today. I have my hybrid that I've dubbed Hybrid A. It's rather unusual. I don't know that it's particularly lovely or pretty, but it grows well and it's different. I mean, I would recognize this anywhere, but I know people prefer flowers that open widely these days, and this is more of a funnel shaped flower is what they would call it. So there is Hybrid A. It's already had a couple blooms and it's got another one to come tomorrow. And here we are back on the other side of the yard. We have Dawn Oro. This one was pollinated yesterday with Suzanne. Here we have the Suzanne that was open yesterday. Still looks beautiful today. Such a lovely red. Absolutely stunning. And we have on the same plant another flower that just opened this morning. So lovely. It is May 24th, 2022. Here we have a fading Suzanne. She's still a very pretty girl. And the only other new offering we have today, this is What a Dream. Really lovely purpley pink, really a beautiful color. It's kind of hard because it's backlit. Let me see if I can give you a better representation of how it looks. Look at there. Oh, the colors, the colors. They're so beautiful. So that's What a Dream. So we will come back tomorrow and see what else we've got. We've got a few more buds still to open. So hopefully we'll have more flowers. And we still have Beijing blooming. The wind is being a little rough on the flower here, but isn't that a pretty thing? This is such a wonderful growing plant for me. I've got it here. It gets afternoon sun, shade in the morning. Got a couple more buds. Here's another one that's going to open, another one there. So this may be blooming into June for me. So that is it. That is it for the May 24th blooms here. We will see you all tomorrow and see what's opened up then. And today is Thursday, the 26th of May, 2022. And this is the beautiful sight awaiting me out here. I don't know the name of this one. It was supposed to be Showboat. It looks vaguely similar in form. Gosh, it's beautiful though. I was going to disavow myself of this plant and maybe give it away at the fern show. It's so pretty. I don't know. It smells good too. It smells lovely out here this morning. So we've got 3 lovely flowers on this no ID plant. It's just so vibrant and lovely. And then we have still open. This is Suzanne. It's been open for several days. The weather's been pretty warm. I'm really surprised that it's lasting as long as it is. I only had 3 blooms on this, and this is the 3rd and last bloom. It's just a beautiful red, Suzanne, S-O-U-Z-A-N. Very pretty. And then right behind me, let's see. This is another beautiful red. This is called My Oh My. Really special. Not as big as Suzanne or as ruffly, but just a lovely, deep, intense color. Really beautiful. Really pretty. So we're having a nice day here today. And then to top it all off, here are some of my, this is the Lost Dutchman, Dawn Burnett hybrid. It's I believe it's a Dysomacranthus hybrid. I don't know, it's never bloomed for me yet, but I love the foliage. So hopefully that'll bloom next year. And then we have Lepismium cruciforme next door to it. And then we have this lovely bloom of royal air. And apparently this particular cultivar exists in a lot of collections, but most of them are virused. And I'm very lucky to have gotten this from the Pentacle collection, and mine is not virused. It's just a really beautiful, beautiful tangerine, I want to say watermelon almost color, all solid. A little flush of fuchsia in the inner petals. Just a really spectacular, beautiful flower. I'm going to cross something onto this, maybe Suzanne, or I have Oberon pollen in my refrigerator, but I think I'd like something a little larger in size to cross with this. So that is royal air. Over here we have another bloom on Rococo. It's a lovely flower too. That might be nice to cross with royal air. Interesting thought. So that is Rococo. I may have another bud or two on that plant. And back here we still have a lot of blooms. Gosh, this plant has really been prolific this year. This is Beijing. I've still got another bud up there. Beijing has just gone crazy for me this year. I'm telling you, I must have had, if I had one flower, I had 2 dozen. So lovely. Gotta watch out for the bee here. Don't want to get stung. 2 more buds. It's just not letting up. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful Beijing. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed the flowers aren't as large as I know this cultivar can get. It can really get to be dinner plate sized, but then I have not been diligent about fertilizing. So I imagine it's my own fault. There's another nice Beijing bloom. So pretty. Hello. Hello, pretty. Hello, pretty girl. You gonna check with me for more blooms around the side of the house? Let's go. Let's go, pretty. There you go. I do have a Prince of Romany back here. That's very nice, a good bloomer. It blooms every year. And I believe that's about it for today. But we had a lot of, let's see if I can, there you go. There's a nice shot of Prince of Romany. So that's it for today. So we have very few blooms left in the yard. We have another few yellow tang that are still going to open. Now, thanks for coming with me this year to see my collection bloom. I may add another a little bit more to my video when yellow tang eventually blooms. And here I almost missed this beautiful flower. This is Immortal. This is from my newly potted cuttings. This has been just recently potted up, and it's already blooming. A really very beautiful flower. I'm going to lift it so you can see the color a little more easily. Look at that. Spectacular. All right, it is May 27th, 2022. We have a bloom on Andromeda, another bud. We still have this flower looking gorgeous here. This one conked out. Another one back here that looks pretty nice. I don't know the name of this cultivar. It was supposed to be Showboat, but it's not. Alrighty, then let's take another look here. at My Oh My. A very, very pretty bloom in the afternoon sunshine here. And here we have Suzanne. Gosh, this has been open a long time. This is at least 3 days, maybe 4. Looks really nice. And then I have a hybrid back here that's one of my personal hybrids that you've seen already. It's kind of got a white edge to it. Kind of different looking. Maybe we'll take a closer look at it. We have Royal Air. Royal Air still looking beautiful on day 2. So here's my hybrid that I've dubbed Hybrid A. Somewhat pretty. Nothing outstanding, but really a vigorous plant. Good grower and good bloomer, so I might keep it around just for color. So I'll likely keep it in my collection for the color and the dependability of the bloom, although I probably will not register this. And how is this for a beautiful view? Beijing is still blooming. I think I just have maybe one more bud on this that's to open. Such a lovely cultivar. I like it, I like it. And we have a couple more buds on Yellow Tang still to open. Gosh, here's another one back here. We're actually running into June and it's still blooming. That's kind of amazing. And over here at the side of the house, we have Prince of Romany that's been open for about 3 days. Lovely color. It's in the shade, so you can't really get a good idea of the color. And down here, we have a very old Fort Nobar hybrid. This one is called Afghan. Just a lovely solid purple. Very pretty. That's it for today. Good morning. It's Memorial Weekend and we have a couple of blooms here on Yellow Tang. This has been open for 2 days already. And here is its partner. Very pretty. And we have a nice big Andromeda here today as well. Very beautiful. Hello everybody, it's June 1st, 2022. Here is the final bloom of the season on Yellow Tang. Really lovely. And this is, I believe, the final bloom of the season on Beijing. Isn't that a gorgeous bloom? I pollinated this particular bloom with pollen from a Tahitian hula flower that I happened to get. And so I'm hoping for some seeds for plants that will grow big, huge flowers, because I know Beijing can get very huge. It's a lot of times won some biggest flower and show awards. And Tahitian hula is a really huge bloom too, and pretty multicolors. And this plant is a strong grower and a good bloomer, so I like to perpetuate strong growth. I have some seedlings that I moved outdoors here. These are a couple years old and they're Chiba Lovely Dawn crossed with 3 oranges. Doesn't that sound good? So hopefully in a few years I'll have some nice blooms from that cross. And here we have my hybrid that I dubbed Hybrid B. It's a garden cross, strong grower. The plant is humongous. The flowers are really beautiful. So that is it for today. I think we may have one or two more blooms still to come this year, but not many.